Hi, it's Lindsay. Welcome back to The Wandering Reader. Today I'm going to be doing a review of The Sport of Kings by C.E. Morgan. This is the fifth book that I've read in the Bailey's Prize shortlist this year, and I didn't like it. I watched Lauren from Reads and Daydreams April wrap up, and she mentioned this book in here. She's also read all of the Bailey's Prize shortlist books, and she didn't like it that much and said that it's probably about 200 pages too long. And I watched that video just before I started reading this book, and part of me kind of thinks, did that influence the way that I went into this kind of like my frame of mind? But I'd like to think not. This is set in Kentucky in America, and it follows three generations of the Forge family who own a farm in Kentucky, and turn the farm from a sort of like crop farm into a farm that trains and races horses. And it also follows a black family in Cincinnati, and kind of their two stories weave together. This is a long book, and there's nothing wrong with a long book, you know. I don't get put off normally by long books. I just take them a little bit slower and you know, savour them. They just take me a bit longer to read because they're bigger. But this was a big book that was just unnecessary. I found that it just kind of plodded along, and there were big sections of description in here that I just didn't get the point of. Well, I sort of did. I understood that she was trying to give you a picture of Kentucky in different periods of time, and the landscape compared to what was going on in people's lives. But there was just a bit too much of it. I felt like this book was quite surreal in moments. There were sort of sections where she would go off and start talking about sort of other stories or other people's lives, or yeah, there were just sections in here that I just found quite surreal. It took me a good while to read this. I was reading this for 2 weeks, and then this past weekend is bank holiday weekend. It was Whitsun weekend in the UK, and I was determined to finish it this weekend. So I spent Saturday, Sunday and Monday really trying to get through this book, and it was heavy going, and yeah, I was just finding it so tough. If I wasn't reading the Bailey's Prize shortlist, I would have DNF'd this book for sure. And I kept thinking to myself, well, you know, I'm reviewing these books, this is my project, you know, I really want to get to the end, and surely when I get towards the end I will see a point to this story, a sort of crescendo, a meaning behind it. And I just didn't. I understood and I appreciated some of the themes that were in here, you know, this idea of family, this idea of race, about part of it was about the criminal justice system, it was about you know, different lives in America, and I understood and appreciated those things. I just didn't see that there was an overarching point to it. This has got quite a lot of praise. The Daily Telegraph on the front of this said the most ambitious novel of the year, a monstrously good book. I just don't get that comment at all, I really don't. Again, we've got a high literary epic, violent, strident, portentous, majestic, from the Sunday Telegraph. Epic? Because of its size maybe, but not because of what's in here. Yeah, I just found it tough. I found it tough going. I would not recommend it at all. I gave this 2 stars on Goodreads, and it had 2 stars because I appreciated the themes in it, and because there was some good writing in here. There were some good descriptions, you know, there were some good moments. The sort of climax, I put that in inverted commas because I found the whole thing quite flat, to be honest. so the sort of climax at the end I thought was sort of well done, but again, yeah, this is definitely not one for me. I would not recommend it at all. You know, you have to invest your time in it, and I just don't think it's worth your investment at all. I would say that this is my least favourite on the list, and I didn't think that I would say that because I read First Love and didn't like that very much, but I'd say it's worse than First Love. At least I could appreciate some of the craft in First Love. I couldn't really appreciate it in here. So this got 2 stars from me, and I would please, you know, don't pick it up. If you're thinking about it, I wouldn't recommend it. So there you go guys, that was my review of The Sport of Kings by C.E. Morgan. I'd love to have a chat with you in the comments below. Do you agree with what I've said? If you've read this, do you disagree? Please let's have a chat. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.